Hi, hello. Welcome to today's session. Today, let's discuss a concept from the chapter Pastoralist in the Modern World. Today's topic is pastoralism in Africa. Pastoralism in Africa. So, from the previous videos or from the previous discussions, we discussed about how pastorals, nomads, their life mainly got affected by uh, colonialism. Similarly, the pastorals in Africa also experienced the same kind of problems. Let's discuss Africa. It is one of the most important continent where over half of the world's pastoral population lives in Africa only. About half of the world's pastoral population lives in Africa only. So even today, about 22 million Africans depend on some form of pastoral activity for their livelihood. Pastoral activity for their livelihood. So some of the important pastoral communities, one who lived in Africa, they are Bedouins, Berbers, Masai, Somali, Bhoran, Turkana. So these are the pastoral communities living in African continent, namely Bedouins, Berbers, Masai, Somali, Bhoran, Turkana. Most of them now live in the semi-arid grasslands or arid deserts where rain-fed agriculture is difficult to implement. These pastorals raise cattle, camels, goats, sheep, donkey, and they sell milk, meat, animal skin, and wool to the people. Some also earn through trade and transportation. Even others combine pastoral activity with agriculture, and still others they do a variety of odd jobs to supplement their meagre and uncertain earnings from the pastoralism. So the main activity of these people is to rear the cattle. The cattle reared by them is goat, camel, sheep, donkey, and others. From these animals they get milk and milk products. These are going to be uh, sold to the other people, and some other pastorals also involved in other kind of work like trade and commerce or trade and transport, and others involved in other kind of pastoral activity, agricultural activity, and even others went with doing other kind of works for leading their livelihood. Like pastoralists in India, the lives of African pastoralists have changed dramatically over the colonial and post-colonial period. Like the pastoral life in India, how it was mainly affected by the British. Similarly, the life of pastorals in Africa also went with changing even post colonial period and colonial period. Now let us understand and let us discuss what has happened with these people. Where have the grazing lands gone? Where have the grazing lands gone? One of the most important problems of Maasai have faced is the continuous loss of their grazing lands. Maasai is one of the important uh, pastoral community living in Africa. These Maasai pastorals, they face the problem of losing continuously their grazing lands. Before the colonial times, Maasai land stretched over vast areas from North Kenya to the steppes of northern Tanzania. Steppe. Steppe is grassland of Africa. So Maasai land is mainly stretched from north of Kenya to steppes of northern Tanzania. These grazing lands now their area got decreased. In the year 1885, Maasai land was cut into half with an international boundary between British Kenya and German Tanganyika. Subsequently, the best grazing lands were gradually taken over for white settlements and Maasai were pushed into a small area in South Kenya and North Tanzania. So about half of the Maasai grazing land, it was mainly uh, used for making an international boundary between British Kenya and German Tanganyika. So this made for the reduction of best grazing lands into smaller areas. From the late 19th century, the British colonial government in East Africa, it also encouraged for a local peasant community to expand cultivation. As cultivation expanded, pasture lands were turned into cultivable lands or agricultural lands. Large areas of grazing land were also turned into game reserves like Masai Mara and Samburu National Park in Kenya and Serengeti Park in Tanzania. Most of the grazing land got converted into game reserves and national parks. Then pastoralists were not allowed to enter these reserves. They could neither hunt animals nor graze their herds in these areas. Then Serengeti National Park, for instance, was created over 14,760 kilometers of Maasai grazing land. So this national park, that is Serengeti National Park, it was mainly created about 14,760 kilometers of area from Maasai grazing land only as Serengeti National Park. The loss of the finest grazing lands and water resources create pressure on the small areas of land that the Maasai were confined within. Continuous grazing within a small area inevitably meant to deterioration of the quality of pasture. Fodder was always in short supply. Feeding the cattle became persistently problem for the pastoralist in Maasai.